I'm here to talk about the champion's mindset. How many of you have ever been a champion at anything? Champion mother, won a ping pong game, cheerleader. We're all champions at something, and I'll tell you why. We get up every morning, we go through the day, and we go to bed at night. If you're above ground, you are a champion. The thing is, how do you get it up here that no matter how tough your life has been up to now, you're still here in this room, aren't you? So you're a champion of life. As I said before, I spent 45 years in martial arts. I started when I was a size 16, couldn't walk a straight line and chew gum, teenager, with self-esteem about this big. And I got dragged to judo lessons by my younger sister because there were no women in martial arts in 1965. So I was a trailblazer back then, kicking and screaming. 3 months later, she stopped, and here's a key for champions. I made a choice to be a martial artist. I was one in my heart of hearts. And then I did what it took to invest in myself. And by investing in myself, getting up one more time than I was thrown or fell or kicked, I gradually developed a skill set that allowed me to choose where I was going to go and when I was going to go there. One of the questions people always ask me, so did you ever use karate? Well, yes, twice that I can think of. Once I was held up at gunpoint. I was in France doing a stress management seminar for a bank, and I was staying with the vice president and his wife. Well, the man happened to be clinically suicidal, came home from work after having spent 25 years in service to his bank, finding out he was most likely going to be laid off. So I walked out of my bedroom, and here he is waving a gun around, saying, "I'm going to end it all," and he points the gun at my head. Now, I don't know about you, but many times in corporations and in our job, we get different kinds of guns pointed at our head, don't we? Oh, how do you like your new cubicle when you've just been demoted from an office? Oh, the CEO has decided to move the entire company and 1,000 people are out of a job. Okay, that's another kind of gun to the head. There are times to stand up and take the gun away from somebody and take back control, and there are times to choose your battles wisely. So as a quick aside, the first time the bank president put the gun to my head, I was also 10 years younger, I grabbed his hand. This gentleman, let's just call him Pierre, is going, "Give me the gun, I want to end it all." And I'm going, "No, give me the gun, I want to live." And I, much to his chagrin, I took the gun away from him. It was loaded, we took the ammunition away, and we did what we could to get him help. The second time happened the day I finished my dissertation. You know how it is when you've spent 6 years of your life working on a project? I finished it, I took my camera because photography is a fun thing. I took a walk to Trader Joe's, and on the way home, I crossed the street broad daylight noon in Culver City, California, and I see these two characters walking down the street, and every hair on my body went on end. Here's a clue. If you're in a situation and your stomach goes like this, or your hair stands up, pay attention. I didn't want to turn my back on these two people, so I looked down and I walked around them on the grass to get to the other side of the pavement, sidewalk. So the woman, as I walked by, says hello, and involuntarily I looked up and said hi. Then she goes, "Turn around," with a 5-letter word, and here's another gun at my head. But you see, every different thing that happens to life is different. A champion's mindset is you don't rest on your laurels. Just because I did it once didn't mean I'd do it again. So paying attention is a key to getting a job. Pay attention to your body, pay attention to your environment. I recognized at that instant that it was not time to try to take the gun away, and I did what they say in the movies happens. Time stood still. I asked 3 questions. Is it real? Is it loaded? Do I mess? And I heard yes loaded, yes real, no give purse in about a half a second. So I handed them my purse, and then my training took over. I chased them down the alley with my bag of bananas from Trader Joe's, and I hauled off and I threw it at them. Now I throw bananas like I play golf, I slice. So in that instant I realized that I was meeting violence with violence, even if it was as futile as throwing my bananas at them. And I stopped and I took stock. And in that moment, I said, what can I do that will be an effective communication for me? And I shouted after them, "God bless you both," which is a strange thing to say when somebody's just held you up at gunpoint. And then I ran like crazy, dialed 911, And within about 2 minutes, there was a 6 street cordoned off because there happened to be police coming this way. The police were across the street at the diner, and the police coming this way saw people running, and it looked suspicious. So a 6-block area was cordoned complete with yellow tape, crime scene. They're checking trunks. And I'm thinking, this is not an ordinary crime. It's just a purse snatching. So they take me, you know, through the thing. We get closer and closer as the search is progressing. And every detective that came looking for me said, where's the victim? Now, I'm the only one in street clothes. I'm leaning against the police car. I'm clearly the victim, except they couldn't see me, which is a champion's mindset. No matter what happens to you, you always have choice. How are you going to deal with what's in your face? So rather than getting upset, I looked at an opportunity here, and in my mind, I had just finished a 6-year dissertation where my actual paper was play as an antidote to victim consciousness. Duh, it was my final exam. So in that mindset, I'm listening to myself every time a detective comes, where's the victim? I'm thinking, I'm not a victim, as they pointed to me. I'm not a victim. I had a gun in my head, big deal. I'm not a victim. I had a choice. So 4 hours later, there was a SWAT team, a canine dog team, helicopters, and they found not 2 people, but 4 people. It was gang related. I was a very lucky camper. And you see, we are the product also of what we think. And although I lived in a very nice neighborhood, there had been a lot of gang activity. And I just said a little prayer, something to the effect of, God, can you handle this? And let it go. Little did I know that I was the instrument of handling that activity, because when they captured the one, I couldn't ID the person directly. I said, they're wearing the same clothes, but this person was a lot taller and they weren't dirty. And the detective says, well, we found them under the car and they were in oil, and they're always taller when there's a gun at your head. And he goes, the good news is you don't have to do anything because they confessed. And the police officer said to me, did you really say, God bless you? And I said, yes, I did. And I became infamous because when I went to the station to pick up my stuff, the desk sergeant said, did you really say, God bless you? I said, yes, I did. He goes, wait a minute. He goes in the back. He brings out all the police officers and say, she's the one that said, God bless you, after having a gun over her head. Now, the point of that story is not that it's so great, except that everything you need to get a job is in that story. You have the presence of mind to be objective. Because according to Krishnamurti, who is a philosopher, he said the highest form of human intelligence is the ability to observe without evaluation. Now, I didn't evaluate good or bad. I just paid attention to my body, to the situation, and I made a choice because I was neutral. And it helps because I had kicks being thrown in my head for 20 years at that point. It helps to be neutral and not to evaluate, oh my God, I'm going to die, oh my God, they're going to kill me. Instead it was, is it real, is it loaded? Yes, it's real, yes, it's loaded, take my purse, have a nice day. So in that moment of being able to be still and take time, just as you're doing today, to pay attention to all of your gifts. We're going to build a container today. That's what your resume is. More important than the resume, however, is just like someone who steps into a ring or steps into a confrontation with a robber, everything that's in your life up to this point is what's going to get you a job.